Hey guys, Philly Boy J here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I make my cabbage. Now, I showed you guys a fried cabbage recipe before, and that ended up being one of my most popular recipes on this channel. But today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make regular old delicious cabbage, and this recipe is truly the best cabbage in the whole wide world. Listen, don't nobody make cabbage like Philly Boy J. Nobody. Don't nobody do it like me. Let me tell you something. This recipe is going to be amazing. It's really, really good, and you guys are going to love it. Now, the holidays are fastly approaching, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and you know Americans love to cook during that time of year, obviously. So I'm going to be uploading a lot of Thanksgiving recipes and recipes that people commonly make for Christmas, such as pineapple, brown sugar glazed ham, and turkey, and cornbread dressing, collard greens, candy yams, etc., etc., etc. All right. But today we're going to focus on cabbage, and cabbage is also a side vegetable that you can make for Thanksgiving. All right. That's an option. All right. Let's talk about the seasonings that I like to use in my cabbage. I use pepper. Obviously, everybody put pepper in their cabbage. Parsley. Salt for taste. You can use seasoning salt if you want. Cayenne. Cayenne pepper. Okay? I want to give my cabbage a little kick of spiciness. Alright? Just a little. Not too much. Just a little. Okay? Chicken flavor bouillon cubes. I like the flavor that it gives it. And because we're using salt and bouillon cubes contain a lot of sodium, we're only going to be using a very small amount of bouillon cubes and a very small amount of salt. All right. You're also going to need some sugar. I always use sugar in recipes that are high in acidity. Okay. And this just balances everything out. We're going to be using onions and peppers and all of these seasonings and garlic. So you want to just balance everything out. All right. So the way to do that is to use sugar. So make sure you have all of those seasonings, guys. The other ingredients that I like to use are chicken broth. You can just use regular water. Okay. But just to make sure that your cabbage is as flavorful as possible, I like to use chicken broth, okay? But you are going to be getting a nice amount of flavor from the hocks and the seasoning. So you don't need it. It's not a necessity, but it's something that I like to use, okay? You're going to need some butter, all right? Now, that's optional. You want to go the healthy route, you don't have to use the butter. But I like to add just a little bit of butter to my cabbage. And you're going to need some minced garlic, and you can substitute that as well with regular garlic powder, or you can chop up some garlic cloves into really fine pieces. Here are the vegetables that I like to add to my cabbage. We have some chopped green peppers here, some chopped red peppers, a chopped onion, and some chopped celery. Okay, so chop an onion, green peppers, red peppers, and celery into small pieces. They don't have to be extremely fine because they're going to disintegrate as they're cooking. So you don't have to worry about them being too big. They're going to break down as they're cooking. All right. Okay, guys. So what I have here are 3 ham hocks. If you don't eat pork, you can substitute it with smoked turkey tails. Okay. That is the best substitution for ham hocks. I love the flavor that smoked turkey tails give your cabbage. All right. But I always use ham hocks in my cabbage and in my collard greens. All right. But don't remember those smoked turkey tails. It will do. Okay. For people who don't like to eat pork, you're going to rinse them off. Okay. Rinse them off in some water. And we're going to boil our meat for about, I'll say 3 hours, maybe 2.5 to 3 hours. Boil it until it's really tender and falling off the bone. Okay. It takes these a much longer time to cook than it does the cabbage. So we're going to add the cabbage once our meat is really, really tender. Okay? So let's move over to the stove now. Going to get started to make some cabbage, It's going to be so good. So you're going to get a big pot. And the first thing that you're going to add to your pot are your ham hocks. Right. And you're going to follow that up by adding your vegetables. We're going to then add a few tablespoons of minced garlic. Okay. Okay, we're going to add our broth now. And then we're going to follow that up by adding our water. Going to be adding more water than broth. And now we're going to add all of this water. Okie dokie. I'm going to stir all of this in. Stir all of this in. We're going to cover it with a top and we're going to let it go until our meat is nice and tender. And then we'll add our cabbage. I'll get back with you guys when the meat is tender. All right, that usually takes anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours, maybe more. All right, so just cook it until the liquid cooks down and until the meat is really tender. All right, and there'll be enough liquid left to cook our cabbage. All right, see you guys once the meat is tender. All right, guys, so what you're going to do while the hocks are cooking is you're going to get a big bowl and you're going to add some salt to the bowl, about a tablespoon or so, and some cool water. And like with everything else, I like to rinse my meats and my vegetables, right, just to remove any residue that may still be on it. All right, so we're going to soak our cabbage. After we chop it up, we're going to soak it in this bowl of salt water. Hey guys, and for this recipe, we're going to be using 2 heads of cabbage because, as you know, cabbage shrinks up a lot. So you may think that this is going to produce a lot of cabbage, but it's really not. So you definitely want to use 2 heads of cabbage. And what you're going to do is really simple. Is you're going to always chop it down like this first. Chop this part off here. And I never use the whole head of cabbage. Only use like 3/4 of a head, because I don't really eat the cabbage that is like at the core of the head. I only make the cabbage that are like the surrounding cabbage, like starting right here. All of the cabbage like from right here. I don't eat this cabbage, right? This really white cabbage. All right, it don't taste as good. So don't gotta be neat. Just chop it up. I just chop around it like this. All right. No matter how you cut it, don't gotta be difficult. Okay, and just break it up into small pieces. You can remove the stem if you want, but just break your cabbage up into small pieces and then place it into the bowl of salt and water, okay? So, really depends on how big or small you want your cabbage. But I'll just break it up like this. Keep it real simple. Alright? Alright guys, so that's our cabbage. It's in the bowl of salt water solution. Just rinse it off really well and then drain the water once the ham hocks are nice and tender, and then add it to the pot. Alright? I'll get back with you guys once the hocks are tender. The ham hocks are nice and tender, as you can see here. Look at that. Falling off the bone. And look at that flavorful juice. See, my folks, they didn't even add any seasoning to it. They just left it like that. But look at that juice. You can tell that this cabbage is going to have a lot of flavor. It's all about flavor on the Philly Boy J Cooking Show. It's all about flavor. Okay? So now we're going to add our cabbage, and then we're going to add our seasonings. Okay? So don't worry about the amount of cabbage. Like I said, it is going to shrink. Even though it's a lot, you got to kind of press it down up in there. It's going to shrink. Trust me. And it may look like that's not enough juice, but we're not going to be cooking the cabbage for long. And cabbage has a lot of water in it, so you're going to get some water from the cabbage, which is going to produce more water. And then because we're putting a top over it, that's going to keep the moisture inside the pot, and that's going to produce more moisture and water as well. Okay, so don't worry about there not being enough juice if it cooks down, unless it's all the way down like to the bottom of the pot. Then you might need to add a little more water or broth. I would say add more water, because you don't want it to be too rich in flavor. Okay, so it's our cabbage there. I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of butter. Okay, this is not the healthy route. If you're trying to eat healthy, I wouldn't add the butter. It just gives it additional flavor. So that's why I use it. Okay guys, so we're going to be adding our bouillon cubes. Put one down on each side. And here's our seasonings that I stirred together. We're just going to add that. Okay. Cover this with a top and let it go until it's done. Okay guys, and this is the way our cabbage is looking. I want my cabbage to be a little more softer than this, so I'm going to let it go a little while longer, for maybe about another half or so. Like I said, it really depends on how tender you want your cabbage, but I like mine pretty tender, so I'm going to let this go a little while longer. Look at that cabbage. I said it is the best cabbage in the whole wide world. Don't nobody make cabbage like Philly Boy J. Nobody. Don't nobody do it quite like him. I'll pay you to find somebody that made cabbage like Philly Boy J. I'll pay you. I'll pay you. Look at that cabbage. And the reason why I'm so excited is because I've made this recipe 1,000 times, because it is my recipe. I put my own little spin and twist on it, even though I got the recipe from grandmoms. You know what I mean? I got it from grandmoms. You know what I mean? Most of my recipes come from my grandmother. And many of my other recipes are just recipes that I've learned and developed on my own. But this is pretty much her recipe, and I just kind of made a few twerks, you know. But yeah, man, it smells amazing and it's absolutely delicious. And I'm not going to let it go much longer, so I cut the fire off because it's pretty much as tender as I want it to be, okay? I don't want it to be too soft, where it's just like mush, okay? But you can tell that it's really flavorful. And wait till you guys see my collard greens recipe. You're going to see the juice is going to be flavorful just like this. You want to make sure that that juice is really flavorful, okay, and well seasoned, all right? All right, guys, and we're going to plate our cabbage here. It's going to be some good old cabbage. Goes our ham hock on the side right there. Hope you guys enjoy this cabbage recipe. I know you will. I know you will. Because it's just that good. But the seasonings that I add make this cabbage just so flavorful. You guys are really going to love it. And like I said, you can take it out a little earlier or cook it a little longer if you want. Totally up to you. But this is Philly Boy J showing you guys how to make cabbage. Peace. Hey guys, it's PBJ, and for more of my delicious and easy to make recipes, visit my website at phillyjcooking.com. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all my latest videos, and come join me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.